Welcome to Treck Short Scale Modeling. This is part 12 of AMT's Star Trek USS Enterprise Scale 1 to 650. Now this build is classed as a what if build. So it's the Enterprise Constellation class, Constitution class even, but painted differently or styled differently. And I'm painting this one in a tartan pattern just because, hey, I can, you know. Now, in this video, part 12, I'm going to be solely concentrating on making the decals for the build. Because this is a what if, the majority of the decals that come with the kit are not going to be usable, so I'm having to make my own. So because of that, this video is slightly longer than normal, but I go through all the processes of creating your decal before printing them off. So let's jump into this and see how well I get on. So now it's time to make the decals. So as you can see here, I've got a registration decal from the decal sheet that comes with the kit, and I've cut that out because I want the curve of the decal. And so I'm going to be using this as a template. Well, these decals here that I'm just pulling up, these are from the Enterprise A. But it's the standard decals with the red, white and black colouring, and that's the colour I'm going to go for. But how do I do that? Well, there is a simple process, but it can be a little bit tricky. So I've got my photo editing suite open, and this is Photoshop 21, but there's various other photo editing suites that you can use. So first of all, I'm changing the size to 65, and I'm using the Arial bold font. Again, it's up to you what font you want to use. So I'm going to type in the letter S. I'll check that against the template there to see the size, and that's about right. So I'll leave it to 65, and I'll just zoom in now to start changing the font. Now, as I said, there's a couple of ways to do this, but I prefer it to do it a particular way, and I'll go through it now in case no one knows how to do it. So I use my selection tool for the character, first of all. Then I'll right click on that box and go down to the drop menu of Edit Level Style, and left click on that. And then I'm going to go down to the last section, which is Stroke. And as you can see, this little bar comes up. Now I'm changing this to 5. This is the pixel size, and the color I'm going to go to red. So as you can see there instantly, that's giving me a red border. And once I'm happy with that, just press OK, and everything there will be fine. Now to create the white border, this is a slightly different process. So with the image still selected, I'm going onto the panel and going down to simplify layer. Now this is important for the next step because the edit suite will not let you do it otherwise. Then I'm going over to edit and stroke outline selection and clicking on that, then changing the color to an off-white. Now the reason why I'm using off-white is because a printer will not print white unless you've got quite an expensive printer, but generally printers will leave white black because the paper's generally white. So I always put it as an off-white color. So the width measurement is 10 this time. And make sure it's on the central part, then click OK, and then as you can see, the white has created the white border, or the off-white border, and that gives me the font and style that I wish. So I'll take it back up to the template. I'll just use my selection tool once more and put it up there to make sure I'm happy with the size. Adjust it how I need it, and then I'll just simply spin it around to match the end and put it in place like that. And that's how I create the letters. Now I've got the other letters and numbers to do, which will be SCO 1901, but they will all be created in the same manner. So as you can see, I've created the registration plate, the SCO-1901, and similar with the S, I'm just going to be using the cutout as a template. So I'm just dragging each character onto the template and spinning it around until it matches up and making any slight adjustments as I go. I'm just moving the last one in position now. No, the 1-0, the two 1 characters, I didn't create two. I just copied the one. There was no point in making a second one. You know, it's why should you? You know. But as you can see, that's it. So I'll just take away the template now, and then you can see the actual registration in its curved bar form. And for the straight number plate, it's the same thing again, going down to edit layer style, making sure the pixels on 5, the color is red, and then creating the red border before then simplifying the layer before I go over to the edit function and going down to stroke outline selection, making sure the color's alright, everything's at pixel 10 and pressing OK, and then that creates the characters I want. So I've moved along slightly. As you can see, I've done it for the RSS discovery, and I've also got a little unicorn there, but I'll go into that in a second. So what I've got here is the a picture of the saucer section, and I've put it into a frame that's the exact size of the saucer section. So it's time to place these on and resize them how I want. Now the unicorn, that's the animal, national animal of Scotland. So I thought that would be a nice little thing to put on, and I've put it in yellow, the Scottish yellow, and I'm just trying to figure out if one, I'm going to use it, and two, where I'm going to place it. So I think if I'm going to use it, I'm going to place it just before the registration number. So because this is the template's exact size of the saucer section, this enables me to see exactly how the decals are going to fit. So I'm just making adjustments as I go along until I'm happy with how it's going to look on the actual model. And I'm also taking the opportunity to change some of the decals that comes with the kit. These little triangular boxes are white on the decal sheet, but because my Enterprise is going to be this blue color, the white's not going to really fit in. So I'm just making my own. And these are just little rectangular boxes. So they're easy enough to create just using the shape tool. And I will change the color. I'm just having them white at the moment so they stand out more, so that I can see where to place them. There's 4 in total, but I'll just duplicate each one I make, so that each one is going to be the exact size of the opposite number. It's just the easy way to doing it, of course. You don't want to be trying to adjust every single thing, because that can be tedious and boring. To change the color is a very simple thing. I'll just use the color picker, pick up the background color, and then adjust the blue how I would like it. So it can be a little bit trial and error, but I'll select my box, change the color with the fill in, and if I don't like the color, which I think it's a little bit too dark there, it's easy enough to change. I'll just go back into my color chart, lighten it up a little bit, and then fill the new color in. That way you can do all this before printing them off so that you can see exactly how it's going to look. I was back to an image of the main decal sheet, and the registry number here, I'm going to be cutting out a template because I need to get the proper size for the actual number plate itself. So just like the other plate, I just superimpose it onto the template that I've cut out and resize it to how it should be. Then it's over to make a couple more decals. This is a triangular shape decals for the underside of the saucer section. There's no actual decals for this provided in the decal sheet. Generally you paint these in, but I may as well do the decals because of the color change as well. So I'm just using my shape tool to make a triangle shape, and then place them in. Now, they won't go here. This is for the reserve side, but it's the exact copy of one side, so there's no point in loading up another photograph. I'm just going to be placing them where I want them on top, but of course they'll go on the bottom of the saucer section. And it's the same for the nameplates from the bottom side of the saucer section as well. Again, I'm just placing on top just so that I can get the size done properly. And the exact same process for the nacelle decals. I'm putting on the red flash there as the template, and then the new registration number, but then it'll be resized within that decal template. And also, once I'm happy with the size, I will just then remove the template so I can see how the number is going to look. It's now time to create a printing sheet. So I've got my two workable panels here. And the first thing I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be duplicating the main panel. Now, this is just because if I make a mistake and delete anything I don't want to delete, I've got a backup there ready, just in case. Before I move the decals over, I check the size, so I just do that with the measuring tool, highlight the box, and it comes up with the panel the size of the actual object, and that's bits crucial. Next, I then want to remove all the other decals that I'm not currently working on, so I'm just going to put them in my bin for now, and this is why I always have a backup, and I'm left with the nameplate. After that, I shall create a new file, and I'll select an A4 piece of paper. I'm going to have it as a 300 dpi. Now, it should actually be 600, but just because I'm working on it and to save memory on my computer, I'm just having it 300 initially. And then I'll take the image and move it over. Now, because I'm moving things over, sometimes these images come compressed, so I'm just checking the scale, and then to see whether I have to rescale it. And on this occasion I do, they have compressed it slightly. So just make sure that you know your measurement. So I'm just checking again to make sure that the size of it, and going back to my printing sheet, which I'll just jump to in a second. I'm just making sure everything is how I want it to be, and then I'll just resize this to the actual measurements that it's on the saucer section. And because I need two of these, I'll just duplicate it or copy that layer, so that I don't have to measure it twice. Let's back over to my working file, and I'll restore all the other images that I deleted, and I'll go through them one by one, doing the same process of selecting a particular decal, measuring it, making sure I'm happy with the measurement, then transferring it over to the decal sheet and resizing it to how it should be, until eventually I get all the decals onto the printable sheet. And once they're all on there, if I've got room, which I do have on this one, I'll just make some duplicates just in case something goes wrong when I'm putting the decals on. And I'll just fill up the page really with the decals that I want with backups. It's always a good idea to have backups. All it is, I'm going to be costing myself some extra ink when I print it out. But it's better to have more than not enough, especially as say if you make a mistake. I'll just arrange it on the page how I want it to appear on the printed decal sheet. And once I'm happy with that, I'll simply flatten the image so nothing can move. Then I'm going to change the dpi to 600. That's the minimum it should be for printing off, especially on decals, because it will look slightly faded on the actual decal itself when it comes off the paper, so bear that in mind. So once I'm happy with that, I'll just go over to my print and make sure everything is in alignment before printing off. Before I actually print the main decal sheet, I've done a test print here, and I'm using this as a template, so I'll just cut all these up and then I'll place them on the actual model to see if I've got my measurements correct. So as you can see there, I've cut them out. So I'll just place them down on the surface section to see whether I'm happy with the location where I'm going to be putting them and the size of the decals. Now I think they look all right. Maybe slightly a little bit larger than they should be, if I'm being honest, but I'm actually happy how they're going to look. And the same with the reverse side. I'm going to put a larger unicorn on the reverse side as well. Not really necessary, but I do like it, so I'm just going to include it. So just testing the nacelle decal as well. The decal paper is just a generic decal paper I'm going to be using. There's many different types of decal paper out there. Just get one that suits you, really. The paper is 1 part shiny, 1 part flat. Make sure you print on the shiny part. I can't tell how many times I've almost made that mistake. And I'm also going to be sealing it all with a clear lacquer. So this brings the video to an end, and if you haven't done so already, why don't you go and subscribe to the channel? If you do, make sure you hit that notification bell, hit that like button, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and of course you can share the video. But for now, thank you all very much for watching. Bye bye.